right. So, stream should be on now. Thank you all for attending this week's weekly meeting. And we got lots to discuss. We got a lot going on. So, hopefully, you guys can see the stream. It's really slow to refresh for me, so I can't see if it's actually working. Although, there it goes. Yeah, it looks like it is. So yeah, what I'm showing on the screen here is some of the work that I've been doing since last week. And I guess we will start by talking about the Godzilla badge. So, we had that epiphany to actually make it a triple decker badge. Come on, get over there. And so basically, where the Cowboys versus Dinosaur badge is 2 PCBs, this is going to be 3 PCBs. So it's going to have a front section, a middle that'll be taller and wider, and then the back, which will be the smallest, and mainly just to keep all the components off of your chest. And then it'll have the SAOs on both sides, to where you'll have one plug-in on either side on the front that is electrically connected to where Godzilla can fight these monsters. And then on the back, it'll have storage for 2 SAOs. So it'll have a connector that's not electrically connected, so that we can actually use it for SAO storage of the monsters that he's not currently fighting. And just to give an example of, where is it? Like the Godzilla head, that's just kind of how we envisioned it going on there. And then we were going to put, no, that's not it. Where is the other Godzilla? In the mouth. I guess I gotta pull this layer above that layer. Oops. There we go. And so that's kind of the idea, is we're gonna have a Godzilla inside of Godzilla's mouth with a city scene, and the front PCB won't really have any electronics on it. It's just going to have the glow through areas and stuff. Most of the electronics are going to go on the middle board. And so yeah, that's the idea. And then we've progressed that idea now to where I did, where was... So I did the edge cuts for the 3 different PCBs in KiCad. So what you'll see here is this is the first board, the front board or top board. So you can see the shape there, and I have these little user drawings that I'm using to align everything when I cut the art out and lay it onto the PCB. And so you can see I did the cutout in the middle for that board. And come on, there we go. There's the middle board. So he's kind of chunky on the sides, big jowls, because that's where the SAOs are going to go. And then there's the back board, which has to have kind of wide cutouts here to allow the SAO storage. It can't go front to back identically because the connectors are plugging into the same PCB. So we have to offset them. And so that's why that's like that. Then we'll look at the art that I did. So here is the art that I did for the front board. I have not done the other boards yet, but I figured this was the most important art to get done since the front board has the most art. This still needs a lot of cleanup, but it's looking pretty good so far. So you can see, I can make this wider. You can see the Godzilla scene in the center. He's throwing his death ray flame thing out his mouth. We have like clouds of destruction behind him. He's smashing this building with his tail, smashing these buildings down here. and it transitions nicely into the bottom jaw. That way it's just like all sitting in his mouth. So I think that worked out pretty good. And then I did the eye cutouts. That way they can glow through. So yeah, I've been playing with making changes to the art and then re-uploading it to KiCad to see how it turns out. A lot of this little crap in here, these little dots and stuff, I'm going to get rid of just because it doesn't really turn out well when it gets converted into KiCad. So I'll have to do a lot more trimming of that stuff. So that's kind of where we're at with that, and then I'll show you what it's looking like in KiCad. Yeah, so here it is, that front PCB with the cutouts. That's the edge cuts layer there, and yeah, you can see how I have a lot more work to do as far as getting the solder mask voids in the eyes, and I'm going to do solder mask voids along the spine and tail, and in here, because my thought is we're going to do LEDs like down his spine and up through the tail, and then also some for this ray. So that'll be our NeoPixel line of LEDs. We'll have like 6 or maybe more NeoPixels going through here. That way we can do effects like pulsing down the spine the way it does in some of the movies, and then he shoots the flames out the mouth. And I just noticed you can't really see because my face is too big on the screen. It's in the way. Let me make me smaller there. So yeah, that's kind of the plan, and you can see I need to do a lot more cleanup in the spine area of Godzilla here. That way I'll be able to put solder mask voids there, because right now there's just a lot going on there that needs to be cleaned up. And so once we get this cleaned up, I can do the solder mask voids there, and it should look really cool. Let me see if I can do a 3D viewer, if that's going to take forever. With art like this, where it's really big because it hasn't been cleaned up yet, a lot of times it takes forever to load this. But hopefully that'll load in a minute. In the meantime, what I can show you is, where was that other piece of art? Nope. There it is. So yeah, while we're waiting for that 3D to load, I'll talk about this thing. This is something I threw together just today. I was needing to distract myself a little bit away from the Godzilla work, and so I decided to do a sticker. Oh, all right, we'll come back to the sticker because this finally loaded. All right, so now you can see it on green board. I think the real board won't be this color green. It'll be darker, like the traditional PCB green board with black silk.
Yeah,
And
I think that'll look much better than the kind of limeish green it's
yeah, I
going
think
for
that's
now.
just a weird color in this 3D thing. But the PCB house, when you select like the traditional green that doesn't cost any extra money, it's not this color. It's like a darker green. So that should work out nicely. And then with the solder mask voids here, it'll glow this area nicely. And then also with this cutout here, especially these LEDs that are towards the top, they'll give a glow to the inside here. And so that's where on the middle badge, what I'm thinking of doing is putting some art in here that's like explosions or something going on, whether it's like a city explosion like we have here, like in the background or something like that. This way, when it gets lit up, that art will get lit up, and it should look really cool. So what do you guys
It's
think?
looking really good so far.
Yeah.
Are you gonna update the Indiegogo with a picture of this? Because I think this will get more people.
I'm hoping to get more progress done on this tomorrow because what I would like to have is the at least the this board and the middle board. The back board won't really have much artwork on it, but the middle board has the top of his head and it'll have that art in here. And so if I can get the art done for those two pieces, then I'll start taking pictures for Indiegogo to let people know this is what we're looking at.
I think it's making good progress. We're chugging along.
Yep. All right, so then we have my sticker idea. So yeah, I was messing around with Midjourney, gave it a reference photo, which was a photo of me, and told it to draw a happy hacker holding a beer. And then I did another one that was holding a soldering iron. And then I did another one that was like wearing a badge. And then I just cut and paste different pieces of those artworks into this so that we have a caricature of my face in the center and holding my little alt beer there and a soldering iron and wearing a badge. So
You're just like a little bit of Photoshop away from that being the biggest stoner picture.
yeah,
A
it does
bong
look
joint and some red eyes.
it does look a bit stoner. But that's probably the way I look after soldering 100 of these badges. I'll look like a stoner.
Can confirm.
Yep. So yeah, this will be one of the stickers that we make. I plan on doing several more for the sticker bundle. So thought that one was cool. All right, let's close this out.
And you said
Close
that
that
you were
out.
going to do like the holographic sticker paper, right? For the background.
Not for that one. For that sticker, it'll look just like it did on the screen. But for
Okay.
some of the other stickers, we'll do the holographic. All right, so then we have our campaign. Looks like we're at 29%. It hasn't moved for a couple of days, so we really need people to support us and like pledge that they're willing to help us make these badges. So and so it looks like if I go down to the bottom, um, we sold one Godzilla to be shipped and four to be picked up. These are the fully assembled. One Cowboys to be shipped and three to be picked up. Then we had the combo that with the 10% off of you get the Cowboy and Godzilla kits. We sold three of those to be shipped and three to be picked up. We didn't get any Cowboy and Hello Kitty, but we did get a couple Godzilla and Hello Kitty. And then, yeah, we have some of the just badge kits as well. And it looks like we sold some Hello Kitties alone for pickup. Yeah, and so the Hello Kitty, um, I haven't worked up the SAO yet, but yeah, this is the art that you did that we're gonna turn this into an SAO. So um, I love this art. I'm just worried about this sword sticking out. I might have to angle that
Yeah.
up a little. That way it'll fit onto the SAO. But that should be pretty easy to do. Um,
I kept the swords relatively simple because I figured that you might have to edit them to be, a little bit more straight or like a little bit more upwards. So I
yeah,
didn't want to put too much detail into them.
yeah. And then I'm thinking maybe something in the background to do for this. Like we could have maybe destroyed Tokyo landscape, kind of like we have for the Godzilla, just some buildings that are crushed and falling down. That could look cool. But I'll play
Yeah,
with
that
it.
would be really neat.
Yeah. So, but that's basically what that SAO is going to look like, at least the centerpiece of it. And that'll be cool. So yeah, that's the major updates. We have lots of Godzilla work that's happening, and yeah, I think it turned out really cool. Yeah, and as far as measurements go, it's going to be about 2 inches taller than the Cowboys badge, about 1 inch wider, and then obviously twice as thick since it'll be a triple decker. Um, and I thought about doing two different sizes, like make the front board come in a little closer. Um, but the more I thought about that, the more I thought that just adds complexity for not much uh, real savings as far as space. And I kind of like the fact that Godzilla is going to be a chunky badge because he's a chunky boy, and I want to lean into that and have him nice and thick. So I think, yeah, we're just going to go 10 millimeter separation on both, so it'll be 20 millimeters thick.
I think this will also be neat in that this is the first like 3 layered badge that we've ever done, right?
Yeah.
So
I
it's
I
unique.
can't think
He's
of
a
anyone
unique
that's
voice.
done a 3 layered badge, to be honest. I'm sure somebody has out there, but I don't recall seeing a triple decker badge before, so could be unique. We'll have to do some research on that, see if we're the first or not.
Next year we'll shoot for 7 layers.
Yeah, that'd be a bit thick. Although I could see maybe doing it kind of like I forget what they call those art projects. They're like 3D puzzles that you stack the puzzle together and it looks kind of janky like that. We could have like a 3D puzzle of PCBs coming straight off your chest. That could be interesting.
That'd be pretty fun.
I was thinking like a shadow box,
Yeah.
or where the like there's the one-sided mirror, so you can see into it, and like the light reflects infinitely backwards.
That's been done. I know at least two different badges that did effects like that. So while it's cool, I want to try to pave new ground and not just do something someone else has done before.
Yeah, I was thinking about the multi-layer like that,
Yeah.
but instead of interconnects, you basically have like, almost how like the Raspberry Pi Pico has the little cutouts on the edge, and you could just solder it flat onto a board.
Yeah.
So you stack up the boards as you build them, but solder them flat, like with little pieces on the edge or something, and have cutouts in the front and back board where there'd be any pins that need to do it. And so you end up with this multi-layer stack, but it might not be much thicker than just the way two boards are right now with the interconnect.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah.
Worth experimenting with at least.
Yeah, definitely. What else did I do? So I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure I uploaded all this stuff to the repo for the Godzilla, so you could check that stuff out there. I know I don't have any circuit stuff yet, but the circuit will be similar to what we did for Cowboys. And then as far as the footprints go, I made sure all of the footprints that we updated for Cowboys were here, like the I forget which ones, the ESPs. Yeah, that's what it was, the ESP Lowland. Yeah, so all of those have been updated. And then under the badge section, that's where we have these edge cuts. And for those that want to know how it is I'm doing these imports, what I do is I first pull this over here. I first do it in Photoshop, right? Or actually, I did the initial layers, like the outlines in Illustrator because it did raw lines better. I spit that out in Illustrator just as a JPEG that I could pull into Photoshop. And so then in Photoshop is where I was able to do the edge cut lines to where let me open this up. It's just like the raw line with my little keystones here for lining it up, right? And that's because this is one output. Then I'll have another one that has art. I'll have another one that'll have the the solder mask voids, and so when I pull these into the PCB, they all need to line up exactly, so that's why I use these keystones here to line it up. So anyway, when I spit this out, what I'll do is use the built-in image converter tool here, and you load a source image, and you tell it like which one you want to do, and I'll just pick this one because it's a simple one. Oops, open. There we go. And so it loads the source image, and then you'll see the millimeter ratio here. I had to experiment with it a little bit on the first try to see exactly how many millimeters wide I need this for the size that I wanted the badge to be, because the edge cuts don't go all the way out to the edges. I have the keystones and other stuff. So what I determined was that I was going to do 160 wide, and that gave me the 145 wide that I wanted for the badge. So there was some trial and error there, but basically you just tell it I want it to spit out front silk as a footprint, and it spits everything out as front silk, right? So if I go back to here, that's what these imports are. So if you look at this, this has the keystones and the lines, but it's all on the front silk layer. And so then what you have to do is you click on each one of these and you edit it and you change what layer it's on. And so that's where this version is where I went through and I had clicked on each of these and made those edge cuts and made these the user drawings. So that's how I do all of these exports and imports, and I'll be doing that a lot more for all the different components, like the solder mask voids and the artwork for all the different boards. And then once we have all of this here as footprints, it's really easy in the PCB editor to pull in a new footprint, right? So I'll just show you if this ever opens. I forgot this is big art. I shouldn't have closed it. It's saying I think I can. All right, there we go. So let me make this a little smaller because I went off the screen there. There it is. So basically I have this add a footprint, right? And I can choose one of these. Let's say I'm just going to choose this edge cut. And you can see where the keystones come into play, right? So I can do a rough line up here, and then choose which one. And now I'm going to move it. And you can see it moving there. And so you can do more detailed moves. I forget where it was at. It's a menu item called like move exactly or something, where if I needed to do exact adjustments I can, but I think I got that one right on. Now obviously we wouldn't want two badge edge cuts on the same PCB. That was just an example, but that's how I'll be doing like all the solder mask voids and other components that I bring in here on top of this silk screen. So it makes it very easy to line things up with those little keystones on there. Make sense?
It looks simple enough, but I know if I tried to do it, it would not be.
Yeah, we will discard those changes. Yeah, it's really not that difficult. A lot of what I've done here was pre-work. So months ago when I first started creating these repos, I went in and I updated all the symbols and all the footprints to get all of the components in there, so that like the symbol table, right? It has the symbol for the ESP32 specific version we're using, right? I created this symbol from scratch because I didn't like the default ESP symbol that was available for it. So little things like this were easy to do early on when I had plenty of time. And now that we're in time crunch mode, I don't have to worry about it. I know all this stuff is here. So, and one of the things that I did, because I was making updates to some things on the fly in the Cowboys badge, but I had already copied everything to both the repos for Cowboys and Godzilla. So I wrote a little bash script that you can run in the Godzilla repo, that basically it goes into the Cowboys repo and looks at every footprint in there and does a diff on what's different between Cowboys and the Godzilla. That way it would flag which files I needed to copy because I forgot. So yeah, using little bash scripts like that is helpful too. But yeah, we have all of this stuff done, all the footprints ready. So really it's just about getting this art and even the circuit. Like right now, if I go to the schematic editor, it's empty. But what I'm going to do is copy the schematic that we had from the Cowboys badge and then just modify it to make the small changes that we're making for this badge. So yeah, it should go pretty quick. Once I get the art done, because really before I can even do the circuit, I need to know about the art, because I need to know how is it going to lay out. Is 6 neopixels enough? Because that's what we did on the Cowboys badge. Do I need 8? Is 6 enough, or do I want only 5? Right? I mean, the adjustments like that are kind of art driven on a badge like this. So there's no point doing the circuit until I have a good idea of where I'm going to want to place LEDs and the other components. One of the other things that I had to take into consideration was, where's the battery going to go? Where's the ESP going to go? So even though this is the front PCB, this is going to hide those components, right? So if I have the battery and the ESP32 here, that means nothing can light up here. I can't have an LED shine through those big ass components. And that's where the triple decker really helped as well, because now I can put the ESP and the battery between the middle and the back boards, and I don't have that limitation anymore. Now I have the ability to light things up in this bottom part if I want to, and I probably will want to. Maybe not with NeoPixels, but some traditional LEDs, have them flash some red LEDs in the explosion areas of the art, right?
Lights everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? we have lots of pins to play with, and I don't think this one's going to have as many touch sensors as the Cowboys did. The Cowboys badge had 5 touch sensors, and I ended up not even really using one of them, just barely. So I think I'm going to keep this one simple and just do like maybe 2 touch sensors, maybe 3 if we need a third. And that frees up pins for LEDs. So I can have those pins that aren't being used for touch be used instead to drive LEDs. So we can add some more LEDs to this thing. So yeah, especially, let me pull up this face front again. Yeah, like here in the bottom part of the city here. I think it'd be cool to have, even if it's just 2 LEDs here that are red, that will light up this area or in a flashing manner, like he's stomping on something and it's exploding, right? And then maybe
I agree.
Put like a red LED in this inside this building or something, and have that flash or something over here. I mean, that kind of thing will make it more of an immersive scene. So
I think it'll add to the ambiance.
yep. Cool. All right, so let's talk about, we've talked a lot about what I'm doing. Let's talk about what everyone else is doing. So, Rex, I see you're on. I really am hoping that you can jump onto the Indiegogo. I made you like I forget what they call it. It's not collaborator, but you know what I mean. You have permissions on this. That way you can start posting updates. Because right now we haven't posted our first update. And it doesn't have to have pictures or anything fancy, but we need to start doing regular updates on the campaign for the people that have purchase stuff, and also these updates are available for anyone to see when they go to see if they want to buy something. So Rex, if you could start like posting updates here, doesn't have to be on a daily basis, but maybe do one tonight or tomorrow with all the stuff that we talked about here. You can give me a thumbs up in the chat if you are hearing me. All right, cool. Yeah, because that's something that I just don't have time to deal with, and so yeah, that would be a big help. Then Ninjician, you said you were going to work on some art for a sticker.
Yep, I got the rough draft done, and so because I am so excited to be able to use color again, I'm going to go ham on the color very soon.
Cool.
It is Godzilla fighting a cowboy.
Nice. Yeah, and that's one that, yeah, you could just upload it right in the art. That's what I did with the Happy Hacker sticker. You can just upload it in here. I'm not very organized this time about the art directory. It's just going to get full up with stuff. So, yeah, just paste it in here whenever you get it done. And then I'll let you know when we get ready to do sticker orders. I want to wait until we have several stickers ready to go, because you save money on bundling the shipping. Even if you're ordering different stickers and you don't get the bulk discount for buying 3 different types of stickers, you do get shipping discounts, so I'll work on that. So yeah, if you can get a sticker done, that would be good. And then we need to work on some of the other monsters. So maybe if you want to take a crack at another small piece of art for a monster SAO for Godzilla, that could be helpful.
Sure.
I think I have some inspiration photos here to give you an idea. So you already did one for Mothra. Then Ghidorah was one that I wanted to have done, and Ghidorah doesn't have to be this exact art, but basically Ghidorah is like the 3-headed monster, right? And so that we need something with 3 heads and wings. That would be Ghidorah. And then
Okay.
where was Rodan? Because that was the other one I wanted to get done. Yeah, so this is just an example of something that could be Rodan. It doesn't really look very much like Rodan, but basically Rodan is like a flying dinosaur, but he lives in a volcano, and so he has like a lot more black and soot and stuff on him. And you can Google these and get like pictures from the real movies and stuff to give you an idea of what these monsters look like. So yeah, if you want to work on one of those, that will save me time. That way when I get done with the art for the middle, I can pick up whichever one you didn't do.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do either one. I'll have to Google them and just see which one looks like I can get it done in a more timely manner, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously we don't want a whole lot of detail in it, because
They're
we're
going to
going
be
to want to.
smaller, so.
Well, they're going to be smaller, and we're going to want to do solder mask voids in them so that when they have LEDs on the back, it'll shine through. And if it's got lots of little shading and stuff like that, you can't really shine through that. so that's why we want open areas on it, kind of like what you did with the Mothra and the Hello Kitty. Yeah, so let me pull up the Mothra. So like all these big white areas here, I can solder mask void that stuff and make it glow, right? With the LED from behind. Same thing with Hello Kitty. Lots of big open areas here that I can make glow. Where if we did a whole lot of detail, it would be more difficult to throw a solder mask void in the middle of it, right?
Yep, I will see what I can whip up once I finish with the sticker art.
Okay.
And I will definitely, I know I went pretty cutesy with Mothra, but I will attempt a more serious Rodan.
Okay. What else? I know we were going to talk parts and where we were at with parts. Let me pull up that spreadsheet. Okay, so this is really small. Can I make you bigger? Yes, I can. Good. Alright, so this is the badge cost spreadsheet that I worked up, and bring it over here. Basically, I've tracked everything that we've purchased so far, and what it costs so that we can see how much we've spent, and also on a second sheet I started tracking some of the bigger items like the dev boards and the LiPo batteries that take longer to get in. Other stuff we can order pretty quickly. But yeah, if you take a look at this, I shared this out in the Discord, this sheet. You can see we're already at $7,800 in spend on these badges. Yeah, like $2,000 on PCBs, and we haven't even ordered the Godzilla PCBs yet. We're at like 4,700 on other components, about 450 on the lanyards, and like 680 on other supplies. This is things like the bags, the holographic anti-static bags, bubble wrap. All this stuff adds up pretty quick. So yeah, so that's where we're at, and I fully expect this number to go over 10,000 before we're done, especially with the Godzilla PCBs adding at least like 2,000, I think. But the good news is, ESP dev boards, I have 329 of them on hand that I counted. They're in a box. LiPo batteries, I have 312 on hand, and I ordered another 150 of both that should be here in about 2 to 3 weeks. So, and the reason that I'm not too worried about it being 2 to 3 weeks is because with these numbers here, we have enough of these on hand that we can actually build out all of the Hacker Warehouse kits, and most of what we've gotten sold on Indiegogo. So I'm not too worried about these. These will be just to fill out the rest of the kits after. But those are expensive, long lead time parts, so I wanted to make sure we had those. So we got that stuff, but there is a downside to this number of 329, and that is, remember when we did the solder party and how the dev board was already pre-flashed and all you had to do was plug it in? Well, that's because I sat and I flashed 30 of them for that solder party. Well, 30 of them took me a couple hours, maybe less than 2 hours, like an hour and a half. 329 of them is going to take a lot longer. And so what I'm hoping is, if some of you have your rigs set up to where you can flash code onto the dev boards, I can just hand you some of these dev boards. We're not going to pre-solder them. We're not soldering the legs on. All we got to do is cut the little static bag open, take the little dev board out, plug it in, flash it with code, stick it back in the bag, put a piece of tape to hold it together, and move on to the next one. So yeah, if any of you have some time, maybe I will coordinate with you to hand off some of these dev boards to you to have you flash code on them. That way when you bring them back to me, they're ready to go into the kits.
Yeah, I'll definitely be able to help with that. I have a few computers I can set up to do it.
Okay, cool.
Could you do like a USB hub to do like multiple at once?
Not really, because it's using a serial connection, and so the serial ports will conflict with each other. You might be able to get two going at once, but I wouldn't trust it. I'd rather just do it on different computers, because you start using multiple serials at the same time to push across multiple things using the same hub. Yeah, it usually goes awry at some point. And being that we're flashing firmware on these things, we don't want to brick them. So, and then, so to that end, I did write some scripts. I know some of you have probably played with them. And some were less successful than others, especially if you were on like a Mac. But the menu script was one that I don't think I updated it in Godzilla. I updated it in the Cowboys, and so I'll have to copy that code over to the Godzilla. But I made big changes to the menu to where it works really well now, to where well, I'll just show you real quick. Let's see, open in integrated terminal. Did it click? I think it clicked. Thinking about it. I got way too many things open. This computer's not happy with me. Alright, come on. I think I can. Let me see. Do I have a USB? Yes, I do. Alright. So that's loading. I'll get this hooked up so that we're ready to go. What is it? The wrong one. That's not even USB-C. Oh, crap. I don't know where my USB-C cable is. Alright, well, I won't be able to show you a live flash, but I can show you the menu if this ever loads. It may not. It may just want to quit on me. But anyway, while we're waiting on that, I'll just explain what this menu does. So the menu program, you launch it just as a shell script, and so you just launch it by doing like either bash menu.sh or /menu.sh. And what it's going to do is it's going to prompt you with a menu. Let's see, here's the basics of the menu. It will let you just click a number to update the badge serial. So you know that thing that you normally do where you have to like do the board list and find out what's my COM port that it's on or my TTY port that it's on. It'll do that for you, and then it stores it as a variable. You can change what code sketch you're working on. It has a default that'll be our code, but if you were working with different code, you can change the default sketch. You press a button to compile it. You press another button to upload it to the badge. You can do either the Arduino serial monitor or Minicom serial monitor, so you can actually do the serial and see what's going on. But for flashing the badge, what I found was I would pre-compile it, so I already have it compiled, and I would just update the badge serial once, because it's going to be the same serial port every time I plug in. And then I'll plug in a board, I'll give it a second to sync up with the system, and then I'll hit number 4 to upload. When the upload's done, it exits back to the menu, plug that board out, plug a new board on, upload. And I just keep doing upload over and over again because it's already compiled. It made it to where it was only about a minute and a half to do each board. So it was very fast. But with 300, it'll still take some time. But anyway, take a look at the menu. I'll try to get this version of the menu uploaded to the Godzilla repo. That way you'll have it there. But yeah, that will be helpful in that effort. Yeah, and that's about it for that. As far as the kits go, um, I got all of the Cowboys versus Dinosaurs PCBs in. They came in 2 days ago, and then just today, I got all the lanyards for the Cowboys versus Dinosaurs in, and everything else component wise, I have in house, and I believe I even have all the bags that we're going to use to bag it up. So once we flash these PCBs, um, not PCB, once we flash these dev boards, we'll be ready to start building those kits. So we can get those kits built out way ahead of time. That way, when the Godzilla stuff comes in, we can focus on Godzilla. So I figured we'd just build kits initially, and then we can always take the kits to turn those into the fully assembled when we do a solder party. I think the next solder party that we'll do will probably be in a couple of weeks. I haven't looked at the calendar yet. I should do that. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe either I'm thinking maybe the 22nd, that we are, like, if we do another Friday night, it'd be the 21st. So that's like 2 weeks from tomorrow. So it's either that or the 28th. We'll firm it up as we get closer. But I don't think we'll have Godzilla by then. We might get lucky and get some of the Godzillas. But we will definitely have the Cowboys to solder up. So that's kind of the plan there. I think that's it. I think that's all I had for tonight. Questions from you guys?
For the Godzilla badge being 3 PCBs, are those going to come connected as well?
No.
Like
First off, they're larger than the other ones. So even with the Cowboys badge being a fairly small badge, it was really large to do as a connected to PCBs snap apart, right? These PCBs are so large on their own. I'm just going to do it as 3 different manufacturing orders for the 3 different PCBs. So there won't be any break apart. It's just each badge will come with 3 separate PCBs. Well, it'll come with more because we'll have the SAO. Now the SAOs I might do as a snap apart with all the SAOs on one PCB.
Whenever we are packaging up the fully assembled Godzillas,
Yeah.
because they're so thick, are we going to be putting them fully like screwed together in a bag, or are we gonna have to just try to lie them flat and have like you screw it together yourself?
No, the whole thing with the put together is it's ready to wear. So we are going to screw it together, and
We're gonna struggle to fit those in bags.
well, that's the thing. I will buy bags that are meant for larger things. So for the Cowboys badge, for example, the kit is got the nice holographic bag that shows off all the parts inside and has lots of little bags inside there with all the parts and stuff like that, right? That's nice and big. But when it's fully assembled, it's a much different shape. So for that, that's where I got those bubble wrap bags that are smaller, and it's the perfect size for that fully assembled badge. And so we'll do the same thing with the Godzilla. The kit will have one bag type that will be sized for all the components in the PCBs, and then the fully assembled will measure it out and thickness included, and we'll get like bubble wrap bags that are the right size to do that.
Are we having a separate day to do the like the camera badge as well, or is that someone else?
So yeah, someone else is doing that. That's Blue Team Village. So I did design for the camera badge, and I will personally be helping them out at the con and maybe in between now and con on certain things. But as far as soldering them up, we're not soldering them. Blue Team Village people are soldering them up ahead of time. I'll help solder them on site at DEF CON. But yeah, we have too many of our own to, to deal with for me to solder camera badges. But like certain things, like I have the PCBs for that are being shipped to me, and then I'll distribute them out to the Blue Team Village members that are gonna need them to do the soldering and stuff. Yeah, so when I showed you that parts list and those prices, that did not include the camera badge. That was just Cowboys and Godzilla.
Well,
But you got to
let's
keep
hope
in mind that
Indiegogo
number.
gets a lot of sales.
That number means that is most of the components for both badges. Even though we haven't ordered the PCBs for Godzilla yet, almost all the components are ordered for it. So either they're in or they're on the way in. So by the time we get the PCBs here, all the components will already be here. So yeah, I did not see Sapien on. He was going to start working on code for Godzilla. So that way we can have the code ready to go, because we'll want that done sooner rather than later, because we're going to need to flash the Godzilla dev boards as well before we build kits and stuff. So yeah, there's lots to do, but we've got a lot done, and I think we're still in a good place where we can get it done.
Yeah, I'm feeling confident more and more.
All right, any other questions from the badge team? All right, well, with that, I am going to shut down the stream. For anyone that is watching this either live or on YouTube later, please come back and check us out later. We do this weekly, and if you're into hardware hacking, I should actually pull up Hash's YouTube page, because that is an awesome hardware hacking YouTube. Let me. God, my system is so slow. It wants to die. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it up. YouTube is just showing me a blank page. All right, that's not going to work. So yeah, look up Hash, and maybe for next week I'll get a preview of his page on here, and I'll try to throw the link to it in my post on YouTube. All right, thanks all.